What's up, everyone? It's Hattie again, ready to bring you another scouting report for the Habs 2022 NHL Draft picks. This time around, we'll be looking at Owen Beck, the 33rd overall pick in the draft, and I think a really good value pick here at 33. Before we get into it, though, just remember to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitter to keep up with the content as it comes out. I'm going to be going through all of the Habs prospects from the 2022 draft, so make sure to follow me on all socials, and you'll be able to keep up that way. So Beck is a center. He played in the OHL for the Mississauga Steelheads. 6 foot, 190 pounds, right-handed shooter. In the OHL, he earned 51 points in 68 games, but honestly, most of the prospects who didn't play last year were having a lot of trouble putting up points this year. He also earned 6 points in 10 playoff games, which isn't a lot, but it's still respectable. So the 3 games I have footage and data for are his January 6th game against the North Bay Battalion here, a 4-3 shootout loss in which he earned an assist. The other game I have is his February 8th game against the Hamilton Bulldogs, in which he earned no points. And lastly, I've got his 5-3 win against the Barrie Colts, in which he earned a goal and an assist. So now we'll look at how he compares to other draft eligibles this year. I won't look into historical data just because this year is so weird with COVID last year and how it affected players' projections, but we'll look at how Beck compares to the rest of his cohort here in the OHL. So I use the Elite Prospects Premium tool to filter for only the 2021-22 OHL season, and I filtered for draft-eligible players so that only this cohort would show up and compare to each other. So if you look here, there's a bunch of players before you get to Beck at 14th with 0.75 points per game, including his teammate here, Luca Delba Blues, who was second overall in scoring. But I think the score sheet wasn't really the way to scout players this year in the OHL, especially this year, given how few of them played last season. You'll even notice there's a couple of undrafted guys like Pano Femis and Evan Konyan who are ahead of him in the scoring race for points per game. But I really think that Beck is the best player between him and Delba Blues at the very least, and easily probably a top 5 player in the OHL. Given his attributes, given the way that he plays, the way that he sees the game, and the way that he influences it, I really think that Beck was a great value pick at 33, and we'll look at it more in the footage to see exactly why I think that. But given the players that were available in that range, I really think that Beck was among the best. So now let's look at Beck's data from the 3 games that I watched of his. So I'm going to be going through this pretty quick again, so feel free to pause and look at the individual data if you want. So he took 9 shot attempts in the 3 games that I watched, with 3 a game isn't ideal. He also missed 5 of them. Which isn't the best, but the good thing is he does take most of his shots from the slot, so he gets to dangerous areas for his opportunities. Passing-wise, really good as well. 79.8% of his passes connected, but what really impresses me is the volume. So he averaged 28 pass attempts a game, which is a lot, so to be able to connect that frequently when you're passing that often is really good. He was also really good on high-danger passes, 68.7%, 11 out of 16 connected with his teammates, either in the slot or in dangerous ice. So really good there. And he was really good on faceoffs as well, 36 out of 57 for 63.2% of his faceoffs won. He does retrieve more loose pucks than gets involved in contested ones, which is mainly because he's just really good at identifying loose pucks and identifying open ice and exploiting it. So that's really good as well. Play driving wise is really where it gets interesting. 60% of the successful passes to the slot were for his team versus against. 63.2% of shot attempts when he was on the ice were for his team. And here's the most impressive one. He only allowed 3 dangerous chances when he was on the ice in those 3 games. So 1 a game, and 16 for his team when he was on the ice in those 3 games. So about 5 a game. So 84.2% of high danger chances for versus against were in his favor or in his team's favor. In terms of line carries, he's really good in transition as well. He doesn't carry the puck across all 3 lines often, but what he really loves to do is carry the puck across a line or 2 and then find a really smart pass. We're going to see that more in the footage, but yeah, a lot of line carries here. And defensively, this might not seem as impressive because he has more turnovers and takeaways, but it's the volume that really interests me. So he averaged about 5 takeaways a game, which is really good. And 29 puck disruptions in 3 games is really impressive as well. He's extremely disruptive off the puck. And he blocked 14 passes, so he's able to get in those lanes, stop those opportunities to connect between his opponents. So really good data set here. Now we'll look at the footage and see how this all sort of plays out and how this works out in terms of what happens on the ice. So the best part of Beck's game, in my opinion, is his ability to manage transitions. He makes really good decisions off the rush. He's comfortable either delaying or speeding up the pace in order to make plays happen in transition. I love this little play here where he puts the puck under the defender's stick and goes around him. It gives him an opportunity to play a puck in the slot. He's also really good at making quick decisions on the breakout and on zone entries, as you'll see here. He's also really comfortable gaining the middle off the rush, which is very translatable. It's a really pro-ready habit. And he loves delaying on breakouts to open up lanes that weren't there a second ago. He's also really good at playing give and go. He's very comfortable delegating to his teammates in order to get the pucks back in better areas, as you see here. He almost connects with his teammate in the slot as a result. He has quick hands and tight, and he's also really good at cutting through contact in order to make plays. So that's going to help him a lot at the next level in terms of finding space and making plays. And here you're going to see him delay, just cut back a bit, and it's going to open up a shot lane. And again here, just cuts to the middle and finds his teammate on the backhand who's trailing in for a shot. So really good in terms of finding lanes and exploiting them and opening them up as well. And he supports his teammates really well, especially his defensemen on breakouts, which gives him opportunities to play pucks like these into dangerous areas for his teammates. And again, another example of him supporting his teammate on the breakout. He carries the puck in the zone. And you're going to see him here just sort of cut to the middle and then cut out wide. And then this stutter right here is really fantastic. He's able to open up a tiny bit of space just by stuttering a couple times. Puts the defender on his back, and then he finds his teammate in the slot for a shot. So really good play. And then he gets it back and then finds his teammate again in the slot for another shot. So really smart decisions when he's entering the zone and when he's exiting the zone. He can play long-range passes like these as well, which is pretty good. This leads to a shot for his teammate in a decent area. And you're going to see another give-and-go play here where he gets the puck back in the offensive zone and then finds his teammate in the slot for another shot. So just really good in transition. Again, cuts through contact really well. He's comfortable putting defenders on his back, and he's able to either push through them with his pace or he's able to slow down the play. He's also really good at one-touch plays off the breakout. So really sort of complete transitional game. It's really multifaceted, and he's able to find offense and create offense in multiple scenarios. Beck's great offensive decision-making doesn't stop in transition either. He's really good in the offensive zone at finding his teammates quickly and getting him the puck in favorable areas to get shots off. He's also really good at misdirecting. He's going to use deception here to open up a passing lane for his teammate and at least do a couple more shots on net for his club. So does a really good job of opening up lanes, and he moves really well off the puck to intercept breakouts and find his teammates in good areas. Here you're going to see an example of how good his hands are in tight. So he's going to be able to pull the puck up on his backhand, put it back on his forehand, and then passes the puck through the defender's legs right on his teammate's stick. So really, he reads the play very well, and he's able to move off the puck in really good ways in order to open up space for himself and his teammates. You're going to see him here make a couple really good passes on the power play as well. He's really good at opening up lanes. Here's going to win a puck battle deep in the offensive zone. And as the puck cycles around, just keep your eye on Beck. The camera angle is going to cut him off a bit, but basically he's going to angle towards the net and present his stick, and his teammates got a good eye for that, and he's able to find him at the back door for a tap-in. So I think that's how Beck's going to score most of his goals at the NHL level. His mid-range scoring isn't the best, but he's really good at finding open space and exploiting it. Even if his passes miss, he's still able to hit lanes that have multiple players in them in order to make sure that someone gets it. And he does a great job of finding loose pucks even when they're in the air. He's able to catch bad pucks on his backhand as well, which helps him extend possession. Another tremendous aspect of Beck's game is his defensive play, so he does a great job of putting his stick in the right lanes to block passes. He supports his teammates really well, understands when they're pinching and where he needs to go when they do. He clogs the slot very well also as a center, which is what you want. It prevents a bunch of opposing dangerous shots. And here you're going to see him intercept a puck, and then you're going to see how defense turns into offense for him as he makes a quick little move there on the defender, gets in the slot, gets a good shot. So he's not all defense. He's able to use his defensive play to drive offensive results, which is what you want from a center. And does a great job in general of getting in the way of passes, especially east-west passes. He clogs the middle lane very well, which makes him a great center in that sense, especially on the PK. He's able to pounce on cycling plays really well as well. He's able to read when and where to go to intercept the cycle. He's even able to bat pucks out of the air in order to stop them from getting to the opponents. Puts great pressure on opponents, lifts their sticks, and just generally does a great job of being in the way. Putting his stick in the midst of breakouts, especially on breakouts, you can see that very well. Here's a great example of that. So as his opponent's breaking out the puck, he's going to lift his stick and then backhand it to his teammate who's open for a decent chance. And he does a great job of reading the play off the puck and identifying where he needs to go and where he needs to be, who his man is. So he's going to stick with his man as the cycle happens. Even though it's pretty confusing, he's still able to identify where he needs to go. He sticks with players very well in order to block slot passes. So does a great job in general of suppressing opposing offensive chances, supporting his teammates, lifting sticks, generating turnovers. He's just a menace in that sense. And here's another turnover that he's going to create. And then look at this pass right here on the backhand. What a beautiful pass. And then his teammate, if his teammate does any better, that's a goal. The only thing with Beck in general is that he's pretty easy to misdirect. So one quick weight shift and he's out of the way, which is something he can work on. But otherwise, a very complete defensive game. Couple of skating clips now. I think Beck's skating is a real good asset. Even though there is a bit of leg kick in his forward stride, he's still able to generate a lot of speed, especially with his crossovers, which is very promising. He's able to push around defenders very easily using that pace. I love his understanding of when he should push the pace and when he should slow it down. He's not constantly barreling at full speed all over the ice. He uses his pacing and his timing very well to make plays. Beck's also really good in the face-off circle. As mentioned before, he won about 62% of his draws, and he wins them pretty cleanly. Rarely does he have to fight for possession after a win where he doesn't win it cleanly and possession ends up being contested. Most of the time, he's able to put it where he wants it. It helps his team get the puck out of the zone pretty quickly, especially on the penalty kill. So he's been utilized a lot in that role, and it's been working out really great for him. Couple instances of Beck's physical game now in his board play. So along the boards, he tends to get pinned a bit easily. There are some situations like these in which he's able to leverage his body pretty well in order to gain positioning. And other instances like these where he's able to slip through checks, get his hands free and make plays, gain the middle, stuff like that. He's also pretty good at turning off pressure and finding outlets easily, getting pucks from the boards to the middle of the ice for scoring chances. But there's also situations like these where he bounces off checks that he initiates. So a bit of work on his core strength would help. But look at this hit. Then he gets the puck back and sets up an offensive chance. So there are some improvements required, but it's still a strength in my opinion. His shot selection and accuracy do need a little bit of work, though. A better playmaker would have probably found his teammate at the back door there for a one-time shot. Instead, he goes for a shot through two players. He managed to get it through, but it wasn't the best idea. Same thing here where he's got a screen in front of him, and instead of trying to pass to one of his two teammates in the slot, he goes for a shot, and it's easily blocked. So just needs a little bit of work there. Beck's also pretty turnover prone, mostly a result of spending so much time on the puck and wanting to try a bunch of things, but sometimes he doesn't make the best decisions. And he's also not as good at collecting pucks in his skates. I think this is something he can work out with the Habs training staff, though. So to recap, Owen Beck is a highly intelligent center with a projectable skating stride, some exceptionally solid and pro-ready habits in all three zones, and great handling skills in tight, which help him catch bad pucks, retain him under pressure, and turn him into good pucks. Those four attributes combine to make him a tremendous transition forward, an excellent chance of pressure, and allow him to get pucks into dangerous areas for shots and crisp passes. He needs to work on his puck management and trying fewer lower percentage plays, both with his shooting and his stick handling, and could maybe tweak his skating stride a bit to be even more elusive and agile, but he already has a very complete profile with multiple ways in which he can influence play. This is a guaranteed NHL center, with room to grow his game and become a second-line pivot. There isn't much creativity or flash in his game, but he reminds me a lot of a Walmart version of Shane Wright. Getting that in the second round is a win in my opinion. But that's it for me today. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Twitter to keep up with my content as it comes out. And I'll see you next time as we look at the king of short kings, Lane Hudson. Hattie out.